This is Chef Dennis from youcancuisine.com. Today we're going to pick up where I left off in Lesson 1, where I was teaching you how to flip an omelet with a piece of dry toast. We're going to place our dry toast in the pan. Our omelet pan is a slope pan, right? And that's for a reason, so that when we go to slide things, it kind of automatically flips up for us, and then we just come up back underneath it. We're going to use that. It's a wrist action, a lot of wrist action. So we've got our dry toast. It's nice and loose. We're going to flip. All right. So we're going out and then back, but it's all in my wrist. It's all happening with my wrist. Now it's a little, the way I'm flipping this toast right now, you wouldn't want to do like over easy eggs because you'd probably smash them. All right. So you need to be a little more careful with that. All right. Well, we've done enough of the dry toast. We're going to place that over here. We're going to get rid of our crumbs, because today we're actually going to do a cheese omelet. Alright, we're going to turn our heat on about a medium-low. Alright, and I want the pan to heat up first before I add any oil to it. The main reason for that is we want the oil to heat evenly. And have you ever put a pan on, added the oil, and then cranked it up on the heat, but you wanted to heat up, and all of a sudden around the edges you got this brownish effect, which is more to clean off the pan. Not good. So that's why we're going to heat this pan up a little bit first before we add our oil. All right? And again, I'm using bacon grease, and we don't want to put the heat on too high, right? And while that's heating up, I'm going to add a little bit of our bacon grease. All right? And you don't need a lot. We just want enough to lubricate the pan to make it easier for us to flip. Alright. Alright, we're going to let that heat up. Now I already have some pre-beaten eggs. These have the yolks maybe look a little yellower to you, but I'm using home farm fresh eggs, locally grown here, or raised here I should say. You don't grow eggs. Anyway, I whipped it, and if you notice the bubbles, the more air you get into your egg, the fluffier your omelet's going to be. All right, so you can never get too much air. You can use a whisk if you'd rather. I mean, that's fine. But keep beating it, like again, until it's nice and aerated. I'm going to happen to use some water. There's different trains of thought. Some add milk, some add cream. But I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. And what the water does is it reduces the heating temperature of the egg, which causes more steam, which allows the egg to fluff. All right? And everybody loves a fluffy omelet. I mean, it's like, you got it at home, it's like, oh man, it's a flat omelet. It's like, that's why, okay? So we've added our water. We're going to whisk it up some more, or beat it up. Make sure you try to keep the egg in the bowl, all right? All right, our oil's moving really nice around the edges, and that's what I'm doing, getting it up over the edges so that we can make sure it doesn't stick. So we're going to add our egg. Alright. And we'll get rid of this. Again, with omelets, it's the same thing with scrambled eggs. You don't want to cook them too high. You want them to gradually get to that heating point. Now, as you can see, we still have some liquid. So we're going to take and move the coagulated egg into the center. All right. If you wanted at this point, you could kind of whip it up a little bit, kind of almost like you would make a scrambled egg. Just remember, you don't want scrambled eggs. All right. So notice how it's coming up nice on the sides. You know, remember in a restaurant, sometimes you see where the sides of the omelet are really kind of thin and are larger than the pan would probably look. If you take the egg that's liquefied in the pan and kind of roll it around the edges, all right, that makes the omelet just a little bit bigger in diameter-wise. Also helps cook some of the egg. All right. Notice how it's coagulating. All right, and we'll make sure our edges are loosened. And if there's too much liquid, it depends on how tight you like your omelet. But there's still a little bit of liquid in the egg, in the middle of the omelet. I kind of loosen up one end, and then I'll tip my pan down. And I'm sorry, you probably can't see that, but all the loose egg is running down to the edge, and then I'm going to just let it flip underneath it. It's really important to flip an omelet to make sure that it's loose and movable. Right now, as you can see, it's not very movable. It's kind of pretty much hanging out in that pan. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit more bacon grease, or butter, or whatever you're using, and I'm just going to take some, and I'm going to add it right to the edge of our pan, right? And roll it around, and then come up underneath the egg. And if you notice now, it's sliding a little more. And that's the important part, because if it doesn't slide, it's not going to flip. And we'll add a little bit to this side as well. Alright. There. Alright, notice how we've got some really nice movement now. At this time, we can add a little bit of salt and pepper at this point. Or you can wait, and after it flips, we'll add just a little bit of salt and pepper. Alright? Or whatever seasoning you want. I mean, you know, a lot of times I put garlic down and or in. Alright? Alright, that's about enough. Alright, again, we're going to check to make sure it's loose. And it is. Now, as I told you with the toast, you can't hesitate to flip this. Alright? When you're going to flip the omelet, you can't hesitate. It's one continuous motion. If it doesn't work, then it didn't work, alright? But don't stop. So we've got the pan, the egg is nice and loose, as you can see it's moving. Alright, we're going to do that same motion we did with the toast. And we flip. Well, see, we got a little bit that caught back over, but we can correct that. And notice how it's nice and yellow. Some people, they say the omelet shouldn't be brown. Alright, we're going to add a little bit of cheese to this. And I happen to be using a little bit of cheddar Monterey Jack mixture, but you can use whatever cheese you like. Alright? And this is going to be a single fold omelet. Alright, whereas a French fold is a tri-fold omelet, but we'll show you that at another time. Alright, we just want to make sure that the egg is cooked. And because it is lower, you can even lower a little bit, but you want some of the cheese to melt. But remember, the cheese is going to melt because when we fold this over, you've got that heat that's going to stay and help melt that cheese for you. All right. So we're going to turn off our heat. We'll grab our pan, edge the omelet just to the edge of the pan. All right. Bring your plate over, and I'm going to go into the middle of the plate with this one, or just off to the edge. All right. When I get to about the middle of the omelet, I'm going to flip over the pan, and there we go. Alright? Not bad, huh? And then you can add your toast, any garnish you want. Now, when you get a little more progressed into flipping omelets and things, this one happens to be a loaded omelet, alright? And it's a little more difficult to flip that way, but obviously it can be done. A little bit of toast and potatoes looks great, doesn't it? Like you want to eat some. Alright? Alright, we're going to wrap this up. Again, my name is Chef Dennis Sturtz. I'm with UKandCuisine.com. Thank you for being with me. Have a good day. Bye now.